games last night, huh?
Yeah.
You know what? Those games last night bothered me zero because I still say that we have to play to our best. We've got to, I don't want anybody. I mean, if they lose a game and we don't, hey, we got a chance. But we've dug our own hole, and all we're going to worry about right now is us getting better and trying to win some games because we got 3 more ranked teams ahead of us, led by the #1 team in the Big Ten in Maryland, and they've been playing good. We got our hands full. They could have lost last night. Penn State could have lost last night. We could have beat both those teams. So we have nobody to blame but ourselves, and now we just got to do what we can do to make sure this team's getting better.
When you watch those games, do you take your coach's hat off and become a fan at that point?
No, I don't. That's Judd Heathcote taught me. You know, he never forget the Michigan-Purdue game, and Michigan won, we tied, and he didn't pull for anybody. But I was on the road last night recruiting. I didn't see it till late last night when I got back and watched the game, so I really didn't see it. I was in a snowstorm in Cleveland. I got some updates, and when I say it didn't bother me, felt bad for Minnesota. I thought Penn State, from what I watched later on, deserved to win the game. Tough play at the end, but they led most of the way, where Minnesota, I thought, led the whole way. But give Maryland credit. You know, that's what happens. You have championship seasons. You win some games that maybe you shouldn't win. I don't think our game they should have won. I don't think that game they should have won. That's what great teams do. Give them credit.
Tough players win, you say. They have some tough players?
They do. They do. You know, Marcel is a really tough kid, but their 2 stars, are very good. But I think it's their wing guys that are rebounding the ball. They had 18 or 19 offensive rebounds against Minnesota last night. That was the difference in the game, along with a bunch of missed free throws by Minnesota.
Not just their wing, but also their perimeter. What ways you guys can try to stop their 3-point power that they have?
You know, it is funny. When you go on plane rides, sometimes you get a lot of chance to study. And I studied a lot. And, right now Maryland's shooting like 40% from the field, which is not very good. 31-2 from the 3. So all that 3-point power means they're shooting a lot of them, not necessarily making a lot of them. They were 0 for 10, made 4 when it counted against us, We're going to have to guard them. I'm more worried about the dribble penetration and the rebounding more than anything. Transition defense. Last time we took some bad shots. They ended up runouts, and those runouts ended up layups and dunks. So statistically, it's been bizarre, how many teams haven't shot as well as I think they could and should. We still look at ourselves being in the top 2, 3, both field goal percentage, defense, and I think it's a joke. But there's teams worse than us. So it's just the way it's been all year, not only in the Big Ten, but in a lot of conferences.
Tom, I know you love the game day atmosphere here and all that, but now you referenced this the other night, but going there and you guys are kind of...
I'm liking it even more.
You like that?
Yeah, I'm liking it even more because either those guys with diapers that you guys are about to interview are going to play, or they're going to get punched in the mouth. That's the advantage of, we've done a lot of things to try to get this team ready. We've played some of the great teams. We've played a great non-conference schedule. But, Maryland is an incredible place to play. That student section on the end with game day there. We're going to try to do what they did. They spoiled our game day. They spoiled our reunion. And we're going to try to do the same thing. But I got a lot of respect for their team, just the way they play. Cowan has been really sharp. He struggled from the 3 a little bit lately. Smith has been really good. But it's those 3 guys on the wings that have been dynamite. And just consistently good defensively, consistently good on the break, consistently good offensive rebounding. I think turnovers, rebounds are going to be the name of the game.
Rocket has been the guy that's been kind of dynamite for you guys the last couple of games. Are you excited to see more of what he can do, not just as a shooter, but catches us out as a facilitator as well?
Well, I am looking for him to become more of a facilitator because I think he can get in the lane anytime he wants. He's got to get in there and make other people better. I think he's got to rebound and cut out a little better. That'll be the next part of his game as we're trying to get him to be the complete player that a Josh Langford was. But that's asking a lot of a freshman, especially when you're going against 6'5", 6'6" guys. So it'll be interesting. I know Rocket's tough enough. It's whether he's experienced enough, and we're going to find out.
Aaron Henry's always been able to get into the lane off the dribble. and rise up with his vertical? Has he become a little bit better at finishing that shot when he
Yes.
rises?
Aaron Henry's playing the best basketball he's played now since he's been here. You know, he's had 4 or 5 consistent games. He's rebounding better. He's defending better. He is becoming the complete player, you know. Maybe he'll become Gary Harris before he's done, you know, a guy that could do all those things. And, but I think, you know, I've been really pleased with the way he's played, and yet every time I tell him that something goes wrong, so I'm not going to tell him that. I'm just going to tell him to keep playing.
You need that off the dribble option, that medium range coming
Yeah,
out.
and I think him and Rocket can give us that. You know, Rocket's better in there too, and you know, Xavier's been real solid, and Cash is going to get challenged. You know, he's going to have to guard people this week. He's going to have to cut people out. He's going to have to do different things than maybe he's had to do other games. But that's what happens when you play the best team in the conference.
Gabe's got that part of his game too, but he seems to sometimes drift around the line. I mean, how do you coach him into that attack?
Yeah, you know, I've been disappointed with Gabe's last couple games. I mean, you know, he was playing very well, and he shot it real well at Nebraska. But we got to make sure that Gabe's playing good, because he was playing 23 minutes a game, and that's gone down a little bit. But those 23 minutes are valuable because he's got size, and this team's going 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", all over the place, other than their point guard. So I think Gabe will be a big part of this game.
It sounds like last game in Maryland you maybe liked more than you didn't like it, except for the end, I guess. Would that be accurate?
Well, I didn't like the beginning. You know, I thought we, after the first beginning, I didn't like the middle. I thought we turned the ball over. They got a lot of breakaways. But if you looked at our defense for 90% of that game, 95% of the second half, it was as good as it's been. We did a lot of good things. We rebounded. We did, you know, didn't turn it over too bad, but then we just didn't check the 3 like we needed to. And I'd say that was a little bit of everybody's fault. Sometimes the player guarding, sometimes the player not guarding, and sometimes the coach coming up with a better scheme on that.
I guess so. Going off that, is that a game where you can say, like a couple other ones, I guess, look, guys, we're this close versus throwing it all out the window? Or
Yeah, I didn't throw it all out the window.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I relied real heavy, but I did not throw it out the window because we played good and had a big lead. A big lead, I mean 7 points. But you got to give Maryland credit. You know, they've beaten some teams the same exact way, and last night's was even worse. And so when you can do that time and time again, that tells you a lot about your team. And I think there's a lot to be said about Maryland's team.
How many times in this year have you looked at a situation and wondered what it would look like with Joshua Langford on the court?
I'm only laughing because I told my staff today, I said, does anybody know Josh Langford? I mean, I hear Michigan Livers and this guy this and this guy this and different teams, and yeah, often, especially when I'm playing a team, when I watch the film from last year. That mid-range game was so good. He was shooting so good from the 3, and he was defending. And we were talking about some players we got now, and I said, well, he wouldn't be playing as much. He wouldn't be playing as much. So I do. I catch myself doing it because Josh, and he had the 4 years of experience, you know.
There was a little bit of fire to him. You could see, like, I remember the Louisville game last year. He was developing that edge to him a little bit.
He was developing an edge, and you really think about it. It's hard enough to think about how close we've been in those 4 games. Do I think we would have beaten some of those teams with them? No doubt. No question in my mind.
Has it been different for him? I mean, last year he's in the middle of the year when you lose him, so he's part of that team. This year, you're never really part of it.
I think it's been very hard for him. He's been great. You know, I keep telling him you don't have to be at every meeting. When he comes to 7:30 in the morning meetings, you know, on a bike, you know, or that, what is it, scooter. And I said, God, Josh, you know, I almost feel bad. Poor kid. Can you imagine what that's like when that's your whole life was basketball and it was taken away, and then every day? But it's been harder on him to stay within the group as much. Tried, but as you said, it's a whole year, and it's got to be disappointing for him. And yet, you're not a part of it. And I think it's been so difficult. There's a couple kids I've had between Cash's situation, but even Josh's, where I say, man, I don't know if I could have done that. I don't know if I could have come every day and never have a chance for anything. It's got to be different.
And when you think about the Langford that you're not getting, we envision the sophomore and a half version of Josh Langford, not knowing what he could have been the rest of his junior year or not.
He was averaging 17 when he got hurt in the middle of his junior year.
And we still only saw the sophomore and a half version of him.
You saw the sophomore year half. Oh, I'm sorry, half. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and he had worked so hard this summer. I mean, he was really playing well.
Didn't know where it was going.
And it's funny because in my staff room we were saying today, how come people talk about people that are hurt now? The people that we lost, if it's Didi, I mean, everybody's doing that, but not everybody's losing a 4-year starter. And it's like it's been forgotten. And I don't mean that negatively for you guys or me or anybody. It's just been forgotten. And you know, I think. And then I look at Hauser, and I see where Coach King, you know, thinking he's going to get a immediate and all that. Which whether he does or doesn't matter to me. But I just think of those two guys, and I say, wow.
I don't want to make you feel worse, but the axiom these days is to get old and stay old.
Yeah.
You're on track to do that when you're old guys.
Well, that's what I said. You know, we're playing more freshmen, because I include Marcus and those guys that hardly played. Gabe, maybe not Aaron, but I consider all those guys freshmen. And you wouldn't be doing that if you had those two, you know, or even if you had one. I mean, Josh was going to take 32 minutes a game. Now Rocket could have developed. Somebody isn't playing good, they could be sub 4. It's just been that kind of year.
From talking to Josh, he said having the option at the end of this year is something that is good. He has options. Is that something you'll sit down with him and figure out?
We'll sit down. You know, I think from day one, if he's healthy and he can play, I think he wants to give the next level a shot, because who knows how much treads on the tire.
Right.
But you know, Josh has been one of my favorite guys here. I just want to do what's best for Josh, and we'll sit down. You know, at times he was thinking he'd never play again, and now there's a glimmer of hope. But that glimmer is won't be known until he starts practicing again, to be honest with you.
Tom, I know the plan is never to have Xavier Tillman sit 16 minutes in the first half.
Yeah.
But in the last 5 minutes of that game, you had a fresh center and the other two kids, and it showed itself.
And that's the problem with the whole sub thing for us. You know, it's easy to say, well, take him out or take Cassius out, but you know, who you got to put in, you know, that's where Josh, I think, really hurts us, because he could have played a bunch of different positions. We could have moved people around. And
but a fresh Xavier at the end.
a fresh Xavier would help, and we can maybe get him a little more rest. But I think part of the fresh Xavier is a lot of the mind games are gone too. What he went through those 2 weeks before he had little junior, you know, and all the things.
After you compared him a little bit to Draymond Green in terms of having an impact defense. Remind you of Antonio Smith a little bit?
Yeah, he's like Antonio too. I mean,
Where he would take someone out the game.
he did. I mean, the job he did on that big kid, I thought, without us doubling much, was incredible. And so yeah, Antonio could do some of those things too. And all three guys are very smart. And but this kid is coming. He's coming right now.
After the game, talking to Rocket, you at halftime really got to him.
Yeah.
He talked about it. He fully expected you to come in yelling. And he said, you came in and said, guys, I love you. We've been through a lot. We can make the tournament. We're probably going to make it, keep our streak alive, and go home. But this has to be about you now. I can't yell at you anymore. You got to want it. And he said it was the first time it really clicked in him. You don't need another win. Your legacy settled. He goes, and it really hit us. This is for us.
Yeah.
I mean, does that shock you that maybe one of your biggest halftime speeches that you didn't say anything, no F-bomb?
Yeah, no F-bombs. No, you know, it is true. What he said is true. It shocked me that maybe he picks up on it the way he did, but maybe that's why we and Cassius played so much better, because a lot of it was aimed at him. I mean, you know, you can sympathize and understand what people are going through, but at the end of the day, nobody cares. Mm-hmm. It's your life. And that's what I kind of said, you know, I appreciate it, I understood. They're just talking about Langford, just talking about Joey, just talking about Cassius thing, talking about Xavier's thing, talking about Rocket's injury. talking about Arnie's injury. I mean, it's been a year like no other year, and we're still sitting there in the hunt for some great things. And but I said, I can feel sorry for you. I can understand it. But when it's time to walk away, there's nobody cares. And that's, I think, I'm really happy you said that, because I think that's good for him to realize, especially at his age, and maybe what he's gone through earlier. I think this is a big step in the right direction for him.
Hi, I'm Jane.